Hello. Okay, Drogo, we're gonna behave. Okay, take two. We're doing a take two. Take three. I know you guys have always heard my macaws in the videos, so I thought I'd introduce you guys to my friend here. His name is Drogo, and what we're talking about today is how to stop people pleasing. Now, I know that this is something that I used to struggle with a lot, and that a lot of people struggle with people pleasing behaviors, because I feel like the society that we live in, that we are conditioned in a way that we're always taught from birth to keep other people's needs above our own, to abandon ourselves to please other people. And this kind of self-suppression is actually harmful, not just to our body energetically or emotionally, but also biologically. Like, it has serious health concerns. It is, I'm gonna try and get through this whole thing with Drogo with me. So, hold up. All right, Drogo, we're gonna have to find you a spot. All right, buddy? You don't wanna be a distraction in the video. All right, dude. So, when you're at the age of 0 to 7, so when you're born, right, you don't really have a sense of self. You don't have a sense of identity. So you identify yourself in your mind through mom and dad. You are... All right. You are hyper connected to mom and dad. Like this birdie over here. So you're hyper connected to mom and dad, and they're a part of your energy field, okay? You derive your sense of self through mom and dad, right? Now, there's something called individuation, which Carl Jung talks about a lot, and it is a process we go through throughout our lifetime, but something... Look at that. But individuation that takes place at the age of 7 is the first part of individuation, which is that you are meant to learn a separate sense of identity, that your own sense of self, that mom and dad are different, they're separate, they're outside my energy field, and I am an individual person. What happens with most of us, and especially kids who grow up learning, who grow up in very controlled environments, right? Where mom and dad are constantly controlling everything they're doing, how they're being, and they're taught, oh my God. So when mom and dad are so hyper controlling that you don't learn to develop a sense of your own self, and you're constantly looking at them for approval, you learn that love is something that needs to be earned, that validation and love, that in order to be accepted, you need to be exactly how mom and dad want you to be, do exactly what they want you to do. What happens is that you learn to separate yourself from mom and dad. You take them into your own energy field, and now everything that you do, because you as a child need to feel safe. And in order to feel safe, you learn that, okay, well, I have to do what mom and dad want me to do. Okay, you know what? You're going back inside, dude. This is so distracting. All right, guys, say bye to Drogo, because he is definitely going back. And this video is, I think I'm going to have to train him more to sit with me throughout the video. Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, Drogo, we're going back inside. You're not teaching anyone anything. You're being a distraction in the classroom. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me, dude. I love you. I love you. I love you. Say bye. Say bye-bye. Bye, guys. Oh, yeah, you know you're going back inside, don't you? Say bye, guys. We'll be right back. All right, well, that was fun. Okay, so individuation. Now, what happens is that when you're 0 to 7 years old, your whole sense of self is identified with mom and dad, right? But now what happens when mom and dad weren't there to meet your needs? What happens when mom and dad couldn't teach you that love is unconditional? What happens when mom and dad had their own stuff going on and you as a kid didn't have your core needs met? And now you as a child, you cannot logically understand that mom and dad have their own stuff going on. So you create the meaning that there's something wrong with me, I'm broken. And now you believe that, okay, well, in order to get their attention, in order to get their approval, in order to get them to love me, I need to please them. I need to do something to make them happy. You learn that love is conditional. You learn that love is conditional and that it's something to be earned. And because you didn't learn the unconditional essence of love, what you do is you settle for validation and acceptance. You think that, okay, well, love is something I'm not getting, so maybe I'll just get validated, right? And now, at that time, what happens is that these 3 energy centers in your body, okay, so right below your heart, there are 3 energy centers in your body where you store your sense of safety, okay? When your sense of safety is not in your body and you need something on the outside to make you feel safe, in your childhood, which is mom and dad, right? So you're constantly tuning into their energy to assess whether it's safe for you to be. So your nervous system is literally tuned to mom and dad to constantly be assessing that, okay, well, are mom and dad happy with me? Is everything okay? Is everything under control? Your sense of safety, your sense of survival gets attuned to mom and dad being okay. Now, as a result of this, all your safety, like this energy, which is supposed to be in the bottom 3 centers, goes all the way up here, which is your intuition, and now you're intuitively always on the lookout. Well, if I want to be safe, I need to make sure the outside is safe enough for me to be safe. You cannot feel safe on your own. You constantly need everything in the external to be perfectly happy and dandy and, secure, for there to be cues of safety in order for you to relax and calm down. And at that time, it was something that was necessary for your survival. You needed it to be that way. What happens over time is that this child, who includes mom and dad in his energy field or her energy field, mom and dad are here, but now as they grow older, it's no longer about mom and dad only. As they grow older, now the friends are over here, and then there's your coworker, there's your teacher, there's your boss, there's this random neighbor that you have that you can't say no to. When you do not individuate, when you do not learn to feel a sense of safety in your body, you constantly need approval from the outside world to feel safe, to feel okay, to relax. To literally, like, if people are not approving of you, you start to freak the F out. You're like, oh my God, no, I need to do something, I need to make this person happy. You take everyone else's energy, their happiness, their whatever they're struggling with, everything as your own burden. And this is very harmful to the body. It's not just harmful for you as a person, it is literally it can physically affect your health, and I will tell you how in just a moment. But I want you to understand that people pleasing isn't just something that a term we throw around lightly. People pleasing isn't just something where you're like constantly trying to be a good person and it's just like, oh yeah, I'm a people pleaser, I can't say no. Like, okay, fun and games, sure, but also there's some serious impact of it on your health. And so many people on Instagram will be wearing this around as a cloak of, this is who I am, that's my identity. I can't say no to people. I'm just a people pleaser, and that's funny. I get that, but also we also need to understand the seriousness of it, because people pleasing can literally bring you to your death. And I'm not joking. And I will tell you how and why in just a moment. But what I want you to understand is that our body, in order to regulate itself, in order to operate in a very flow state, in order to be like have a healthy regulation going on, be chemically balanced. Our nervous system needs to feel safe. Our nervous system needs to be at homeostasis. And when we are constantly attuned to the environment, and there will always be threats in the environment, right? There will always be somebody who's pissed off, somebody who's not happy, somebody who's having a breakdown. But if you're constantly tuning into those other people and trying to overextend yourself to make sure that those other people are happy, you're suppressing yourself. So when your friend calls you at 11 p.m. and you're just about to go to bed and asks you, hey, can you help me with the submission? And you are burnt out, you're exhausted. You have to wake up at 5 in the morning, but you can't help but say yes. Not because you want to. This is a very big difference. There are times when we do things for the people we love because we want to do those things, because we love those people, because we will not, like, we won't feel spiteful or, like we won't feel, what's that word? Resentful. Exactly, not spiteful, resentful. We won't feel resentful if we do that thing for them. Like later on, if you say yes to your friend and you're helping them and it's like, it goes up until 2 a.m. and then it's 5 a.m. you wake up and you're groggy, you won't be pissed off that, oh my God, I should have just said no to her. You'll be like, no, my friend needed me. I helped her. I love her. So that's the difference. The difference between knowing how to say no and choosing to say yes, right? And saying yes because you don't know how to say no. I remember reading this somewhere. I think it was maybe a podcast I was listening to or a book I was reading. I'm not too sure. But someone said this thing. He said, your yes means nothing if you don't know how to say no. And that is so true, because so many people only say yes to things, yes to people, yes to yes to plans, because they don't know how to say no. So they bend themselves like spaghetti because, oh my God, I need to please everybody. And the thing is that they do that, they please everyone so that nobody abandons them, right? So now they're constantly like, let me help you and let me do this for you, let me do that for you, let me please you, so you don't leave me, so you don't abandon me, so I can feel safe and I can feel worthy. But the irony in it is that you're constantly abandoning yourself for those people. And no matter how many people stay in your life, by the way, it will never feel like it's enough, because it's not their approval or it's not their presence that you're seeking. You need to go back inside yourself and learn to be present with yourself. Learn to stop abandoning yourself, because self-abandonment is the scariest thing. Self-abandonment is the worst thing you can do for yourself. And you think that you're doing this great act of, kindness and mercy towards the world, but all this time you're pouring out and never pouring back in your own cup. You're doing a disservice to everyone. And all those people you want to help, you're doing a disservice to them too, because when you are completely burnt out and depleted and out of life force energy, when you have nothing left to give, do you actually think those people are going to stick around? Because those are the people you have attracted from a place of lack within. There are people you have attracted who are takers, right? Because when you are whole and you know how to receive and you know how to give in a very adequate, a very sustainable proportion, and you're giving out of love, not out of wanting something or wanting to get something, then the people you attract in your life are going to be very different, versus if you are inviting people who, because you're just so selfless, you're like, the fucking angel on earth, except you're not, right? You just don't know how to feel safe within your own body. So all your sense of safety comes from pleasing other people, and you have this belief that attention is bad. Does everyone like me? Oh my God, you're mad at me? Oh no, don't be mad at me. And you're just like losing your mind if someone is ever upset with you, because you don't know how to feel safe in your body. So you need them to be pleased with you to feel safe. Will the world always be pleased with you? Can you ever walk around life not having one person disapprove of you? You can't. people will disapprove of you. People will not like what you have to say. People might not even, enjoy being around you. Some people will hate you. Some won't like you. And that's perfectly fine. It's water off the back, right? It's when you make it personal and you make it your mission to please these people because tension is so bad. It's not them. It's it's your inner child working through you, trying to get its needs met. Because the inner child never felt unconditionally loved, never felt unconditionally safe. So the inner child felt that, okay, well, it's a survival skill that you learned, okay? It was beneficial for you at that point. Except you just got to realize that it's a skill you can now let go of because you are not a child anymore. And you have the ability to, be more logical, be more intellectual, be more emotionally aware, be more, point is that if you're constantly needing approval to feel safe, making sure everyone likes you, trading love for being liked, accepted, and validated, what is left of you? Like, let's say you want to wear a blue sweater, okay? And then your friend comes in and says, oh my God, that looks horrible on you. And, I'm not going out with you if you're looking like that, dude. I had a friend who once said that to me, by the way. We were going somewhere and we were planning to go somewhere, and this is a pretty long time ago, but I used to, and I think to an extent I still am, be the kind of person, if I'm in the mood to dress up, I'll dress up. If I'm not in the mood, I will be wearing whatever, and I'll be like, cool, let's go, I don't care, Like, I'm fine. I'm good with how I look like, right? And this friend of mine, she just looked at me and she's like, I'm not going out with you if you're gonna wear that. That's embarrassing. And I was like, cool, dude, I don't want to go out with you. No, I'm joking. I actually changed because I used to be a people pleaser at that time. But that person is obviously no longer in my life. But the idea is that when we don't have boundaries, when everything we're doing, we feel like it needs to be approved by other people, everything we do is for them. And then there's no sense of self anymore. It's like, if you want your hair to be freaking blue, go ahead and do it. If you want, whatever you want to do, if you want to make cringe videos and it makes you happy to be a content creator on TikTok and create reels, go ahead and do it. Whatever makes you happy. Like, for one, step out of that box of, okay, but what will people say? There's so many people I know of who have these incredible gifts, who are leaders, who are visionaries, who are, like, they have that in them. They have the essence of that in them, right? To do something great, to stand up and show out, and they minimize themselves. They hide their gift from the world because they're scared about what people will think about them. That, people are gonna think that, who am I to say something? Like, I'm not even that good. I mean, think about this, right? Think about a lot of times what puts things in perspective for me is that when I think about the biggest people who have made an impact in my life, whose work has made an impact in my life, Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, Aaron Doughty, there's so many others, and Joseph McClendon. And I just think that if these people never played full out, if these people never went for it, right? If they always stayed hidden, if they always stayed in this shell of themselves, so many lives would remain uninspired, right? We all have a gift we've come to serve, but we often, keep that trapped inside of ourselves because we are so afraid that people are going to reject what I have to say. Well, so what if they do? You, as a people pleaser, you got to realize that these people don't belong in your energy field. Your energy field is supposed to be only you. This sense of self versus other. So, how do you stop people pleasing? The first thing you learn is that tension is neutral. Tension is a good thing. Tension just means that, cool, someone has an opinion that is, different than mine. And especially when it comes to things that don't harm anyone, right? Like, for example, you get into a disagreement with your business partner, and this person, you clearly know that they're wrong and you are in the right, but you are keeping your mouth shut because you're scared that they're not going to like you afterwards, don't do it. You know, like, voice your thing out. Not to say be aggressive and like assert yourself like with dominance and aggression. No, like, just assert yourself with respect. Let people know that, hey, these are my boundaries, don't cross them. And I feel like once you start to do this, once you start to let the people in your life know that, dude, look, I understand that you have been used to an old version of me, and I do not accept disrespect, or I don't accept someone yelling at me. I don't accept someone calling me names. I don't accept XYZ behavior, right? So if you do that, you're crossing a line for me, and I will walk out, and then walk out. It is not going to be easy. But when you have your boundaries, you're no longer, like, other people don't have power over you. They're no longer controlling you. You have, you know, you are your own person, and you are doing things that are right for you. You are doing things to honor yourself. You put yourself first. And that is more important than anything or anyone else in the world. You deserve your energy. You get to decide what is and isn't acceptable behavior for you. Doesn't mean that you put like a billion rules, right? Like, don't chew around me like this, don't breathe around me like this, but anything that is concerning you directly. Like, if someone has the habit of, you know, when they're going through something, they start to call you names and they start to treat you like their punching bag, and you don't want to be here for it anymore because it hurts you. You set that boundary. You let them know, hey, I know I have compassion for what you're going through, and I will not accept this for myself because I honor myself, I respect myself, and nobody talks to me like that. I promise you that when you start to respect yourself more and stop making excuses and justifying people's behavior, like, I'm not saying stop having compassion, like, understand that, okay, well, that's unconsciousness in them. Don't judge them, don't criticize, or, you know, like, talk shit about them, but have the frame that, okay, cool, I, with all compassion, like, I know that's unconsciousness in you, and I love you so much, and I love myself more. So this thing, it's not okay with me, and I'm gonna have to take the door. You will lose people, especially people who are used to the version of you that had no boundaries. I have lost people who were the closest people in my life, some of them. But I had to be okay with it because I realized that as much as it hurts to see them go away, it's that, how much did you love me if you couldn't respect the fact that I have boundaries in my life? Did you even love me? So if somebody cannot honor your boundaries, then you want to assess, is that person worth keeping in your life? Take inventory of that. Then the second thing you want to do is, what do you want? Tune back in your body. What do I like? What do I feel? The thing with people pleasers is that they're so tuned to the environment that they hardly ever tune into themselves and ask themselves, how do I feel about this, right? Instead of, oh my God, that person must be feeling. Well, okay, we're gonna get to that later, but what are you feeling in this moment? What are the sensations moving through your body? You went out with that group of friends, did you like it? Did you have fun? You met that person, did you enjoy their company? What is your body telling you about them? I remember a couple of, I think weeks, maybe months ago, I met this person, and I was introduced to them through another friend of mine. And I, you know, even in talking to them from the get-go, I kind of had this weird intuitive feeling that this is just not my vibe of a person, right? And then I met them in person somewhere at an event, and I didn't get the vibe, right? Then I was like, okay, cool, maybe like I was thinking too much of it. Then I had a work thing to discuss with this person, so we went for coffee. And we're sitting there having coffee, and just being in the presence of their energy was like, it was like my body was signaling me, like, girl, get out of there, you know, nope. And from that day, like, I just like pulled myself out of that connection. I was like, no, that's just not for me, you know, just not for me. And the more we listen to and tune into our body, the more we become centered in ourselves, and we learn to trust ourselves, trust our decisions. Your intuition is your biggest guide, but the thing with people pleasers is that you learn to distrust your intuition and trust everyone else. That is not okay. So you need to tune back in the body and go like, well, how do I feel about this? Did I like it? In my body, where am I feeling? What are the sensations that are moving? And it's gonna feel unfamiliar at first, but it gets more easier with time. It gets more natural with time. And then the third is if their opinion didn't matter. Like, for example, if you want to do something but you're afraid that people are gonna judge you or whatever, ask yourself, well, if their opinion didn't matter, what would I do? If they didn't have any opinions, if I didn't even know them, right? If it just ceased to exist, what would I do? And then go ahead and do that, because that is what you really want to do, right? And then you want to do the frame technique, and you want to cut the energetic cord. The frame technique is something I learned from Aaron Doughty, and I can't seem to see a candle near me right now, but so imagine this is a candle, okay? And what you want to do is just, the frame technique is just putting a candle in front of you and looking at the flame on top. I really should, okay, never mind. Looking at the flame, like focusing on the flame, and then when you inhale, right, you want to bring the energy into your body while you are focused on the flame. So energy in your body, feel your energetic body, okay? And then when you exhale, keeping the eyes on this, you're going to focus on everywhere else and feel the connectedness with everything else. So inhale, you're going to feel a separation from you and the candle, right? The flame. And then exhale, you're going to feel a connectedness with everything and everyone, all of life, the candle. Inhale, I am separate. Exhale, I am connected. This helps you, even if you do this like 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, it helps you feel a sense of separation from your thoughts, from the mind, a sense of separation from your thoughts, from your mind, from your body, and from being energetically connected to everything. So you feel, and then cutting the energy cords is basically, what you want to do is you want to go in a meditative state, and I might create a meditation for this, but what you want to do is get into a meditative state and envision like every person whose opinion matters to you a lot, right? And imagine there's this energy cord that is connected from you, your heart, your body, whatever part of yours you feel called to, your mind maybe, and that cord is providing energy to those person, like to those people. It is literally giving them your energy. And what you want to do is imagine you have a scissor and you're literally like cutting those cords, like it's a metaphor, it's an imaginative thing to do, but what it does is that it gives your subconscious mind the message, the signal, because when you're in meditation, you're in a theta brainwave state, right? So it gives your subconscious mind the message that, okay, well, we are releasing this energetic connection and we are taking back our own power, taking back our own energy. And this is very powerful because it allows you to disconnect from their energy. Because people pleasers are always so tuned to everybody else that they don't have the space to be tuned in with themselves. Now, the final part of this, which I wanted to tell you, was that from a book called 5 Regrets of Dying People. These were people that were not dying of old age. These were people who were, young, in their 30s, 40s maybe. But they were people who were dying because of autoimmune diseases. And, so research has found that 3 diseases, there's breast cancer, arthritis, and there's another one that I can't remember at the moment, but these are caused by stress in the body, and 80% of these diseases are found in women. And further research was done, and it was found that, women who suppress themselves, it creates a lot of trauma in the body, right? It creates a lot of stress in the body. That energy is blocked and it suppresses their nervous system. And that malfunction in the nervous system goes ahead and creates diseases in the body. Like, there is tons of research on this. You should go look it up for sure. But in this book, 5 Regrets of Dying People, it was written by a nurse at this hospital. And the first one, she said that was, I wish I had the courage to live a life that was more authentic to myself. And this is somebody who has been told that they're about to die. And it's because of, research found that their illness was caused by stress in the body, right? Nervous system got compromised. It manifested as an illness. And this person is saying, I wish I had the courage to live a life that was more true to myself, that was more authentic to myself. And it is so surreal to listen to that, because how many people suppress themselves to live a life of other people's wants and needs just to be liked and accepted in the society. They never do what they want to do. They never be who they want to be, because they're constantly afraid that someone's not going to like me, someone's not going to accept me. And trust me, if others don't like and accept you, doesn't matter. But if you don't like and accept you, it affects your nervous system. It affects your body. It affects your health. So, and Dr. Gabor, he said something really interesting. He said, people said this about this. He said, these people saying, I wish I had the courage. Courage is something you always have. You always had it. When you were born, you had courage, right? You look at a 2-year-old kid, they have courage. They have so much courage. It's insane. It's not something you need to go and get. It's something you already have. It's just that you learn that to hide your courage. You learn to, mask it, and you turn it into fear, but it's already present in you as a part of who you are in your core. So really, this whole process is about, remembering who you really are, of letting go of the notions of who other people have told you to be, and ask yourself, well, who am I really? It's not an overnight process, but a very beautiful one, because the deeper you relax into who you are, the deeper you get to know yourself, with curiosity, with love, with excitement. You fall deeper in love with yourself, and you no longer look for the outside world to complete you. You feel whole, and you feel centered, and you feel connected, and you feel like, wow, I know who I am, and I love this person, and I love doing what I do. All else is just the human experience. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the little intro with my Macau. His name is Drogo. I will see you guys in the next video. If there's something specific you want to learn, by the way, drop it in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. Bye bye.